They say every house keeps a secret, but on Alder Street, the house itself was the secret. You wouldn't notice it, not at first. No peeling paint, no broken windows, just quiet, too quiet. And behind one of those windows, the one with the old lace curtain, a woman lived. Or rather, she survived. Eleanor was only 19 when she married Thomas Whitlow. She was bright, joyful. Her laughter used to carry down the street like wind chimes. She worked at the local bookstore, loved Sylvia Plath, and drank tea with 2 sugars. Thomas was different, a former soldier, stern, a man who believed silence was power. He rarely smiled, never danced. But he had money, and Eleanor had no family left. So when he offered marriage, she said yes. And 3 months later, she disappeared from the world. At first, neighbors thought she was just settling in, but the bookstore owner noticed she never returned. The postman said Thomas began collecting the mail himself. Groceries were dropped off, but no one ever saw Eleanor carry them in. Then, on a warm evening in June, Mrs. Langley, their next-door neighbor, heard something. A muffled scream, cut off mid-breath. She told her husband. He said it was just a bad dream. The police were never called. Eleanor wasn't dead. She was upstairs, locked in the small room at the end of the hall, with 1 window and 1 lock. From the outside, Thomas brought her food once a day, never spoke, never looked her in the eye. She scratched the wallpaper until her fingers bled. She counted the cracks in the ceiling, 47 of them. She whispered poetry to herself in the dark, trying to remember what the world smelled like, what it felt like to laugh. And at night, she cried. Sometimes softly, sometimes like she was being torn in 2. A child once claimed to see her. He said her face looked like wax. Her eyes were screaming, but no one believed him. Even when strange things happened, the sound of thuds from upstairs, a lamp flickering for hours, or the time someone saw blood running down the window frame. Still, no one knocked on the door. On January 12th, 1957, Thomas slipped on ice outside the house. He hit his head, died instantly. Neighbors gathered. The ambulance came. The house was left quiet. And then, on the second night, they heard the banging. It wasn't frantic. It was rhythmic, deliberate, like someone had waited years to make each sound count. Police were called. They found the front door unlocked, but the rest of the house was still, dusty, empty, until they reached the locked door upstairs. When they broke it open, they found Eleanor. She was thin, bones, hair white, eyes sunken, like deep wells that had run dry. She didn't speak, not a word, just stared out the window, like she was still waiting for someone to rescue her. Eleanor died 3 weeks later. Doctors said her heart failed. But the nurse who watched over her last night swore she heard Eleanor whisper something before she passed. She said, There's still someone in that room. But of course, no one was found. The house was sealed, then abandoned. But over the years, people who passed by said they felt watched. Some claimed they heard scratching on the windows, or a woman softly reciting poems. Now, Alder Street is quiet again. The house still stands, rotting slowly, but the upstairs window remains. And if you ever find yourself walking by, don't look too long at the second floor, because she might still be there. Eleanor, still waiting, still whispering.